Alrighty, good morning, everybody. My name is Gabby. I am our Community Education and Outreach Coordinator here at Legal Aid. Today, we are going over the extra emergency food stamps and how they ended at the end of February. So if you're not familiar with the format of these listen and learn sessions, we have Lainey here and Megan who are going to go through a PowerPoint with all of us, and then we'll take a little break in the middle, I believe, right, Lainey, and do some questions. And then again, probably at the end, we'll stop and see if there are more questions. If you're on Zoom, feel free to throw all of your questions into the question and answer box. And if you are joining us live on Facebook, feel free to throw anything into the comments section, and we will make sure to address it during our question and answer portions. But I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you, Lainey, and you can kick us off.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Listen and Learn on the end of extra emergency food stamps. We have four main topics today that we would like to cover, and they are to get informed on what's going on, update DSS on any changes that you've experienced, exercise your rights, and find resources. So first, get informed. So you may or may not know, but since March of 2020, all North Carolina households that receive food stamps have been receiving a second additional payment later in the month of emergency food stamps. And these have been called emergency allotments. So due to these emergency allotments, all households have been receiving the maximum amount of food stamps allowed for their household size, or if they were already at the maximum, they've been receiving an extra $95 a month. Now, these extra food stamps have ended. February 2023 was the last month for these payments. So starting in this month, March 2023, you only receive your regular food stamps payment. So this is the first payment that you receive in the month. You will not receive a second food stamps payment later this month. So what should you do to handle this change? Well, the first is to just be aware of what your regular monthly food stamp payment is and should be. You can check this online at ebtedge.com or by calling the NC EBT call center. Your local Department of Social Services, or DSS, calculates your regular food stamps benefits payment based on your household size, income, and expenses. So generally, the more income that your household has, the less food stamps your household will receive. But if your household has more expenses, you can be eligible to receive additional food stamps. So we are excited to announce that Legal Aid now has a free calculator on our website that calculates the FNS benefits or food stamps benefits that could be available to your household based on your income and expenses. And I'm gonna stop for just a second to show you guys this calculator and how to use it. So if you go to our website, you can see the calculator looks like this. So this is the direct link to the calculator, but you also can get here from our homepage. So let's do that just to show everyone. So if you are on our website, you can just Google Legal Aid and you'll find us, legalaidnc.org. At the top, you can see this banner that says Alert, Emergency Food Stamps are ending. If you click on Learn More, it takes you to a ton of information about this change, everything that you could need to know. There's also some videos from prior clinics that we've done if you want a refresher on anything. But to access the calculator, find this button that says Calculate Your Benefits. Click on that, and it takes you to the calculator. So just to make sure everyone understands, this is not an application for food stamps benefits, and it is just an estimate. It's generally accurate. It's not always accurate, so just keep that in mind as you're putting information in about your situation. It's, again, just an estimate to help you get an idea. It is available in English and also in Spanish, if that's something that you prefer. So the way that you use it is you just go down line by line in order and answer the questions. So let's do an example just to kind of see how it works. So let's imagine a household of, we'll say 3. Maybe it's a mom and 2 minor kids. So no one in this household is 60 or older or disabled. So we'll say no. And we'll say that everyone is a US citizen. As it says, immigrants can be eligible for food stamps. It depends on their status. And for mixed status families, people in the household who are citizens can receive benefits. Even if some folks in the household are undocumented, they're still able to apply on behalf of the people who are citizens. So even if you say no, you can still fill out the rest of this calculator, but we'll just say yes for today. Let's say mom has an income of $2,500 a month. She receives $100 in child support for the kids. She pays $500 a month for a friend to watch her kids when she works sometimes. She does not pay child support for a child, so we'll say 0. Her rent is $1,000. She does not have any homeowners insurance or taxes. So this one, when it asks about utility bills, it is a check all that apply box. So as many as apply to you, check them. So we'll say she pays electricity, water, and she has a phone bill. This last question is trying to screen for WIC eligibility, which is women, infants, and children. So if any of these apply to the household, check as many as apply. So let's say that one of her kids is under 5. Do submit. So it tells you, first of all, that this hypothetical household is likely eligible for SNAP benefits or food stamps benefits, and that it estimates their benefit to be $505 per month. It gives some information about how to apply. It also lists the WIC eligibility, stating that, because one member is under 5 in the household, they're likely eligible for WIC benefits. It has a link to more information about what kind of foods are covered by WIC, as well as a link on information on how to apply. If you do this calculator and you have some questions, these drop-down boxes also give information about how you got the result that you got. So I really encourage everyone to use this calculator if you're not sure whether or not your monthly benefit is correct. This is a great opportunity to kind of check that and get an estimate to see if something could be wrong. And if you're one of our community partners watching this video, we highly encourage you to use this with your clients. It's very accessible, very easy to use. It just takes a couple of minutes, and it could help your clients understand whether or not they're getting the right amount of food stamps benefits. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. So as you can see, these expenses, these expenses here on my PowerPoint, they impact how much food stamps you receive. So if you've had any of these changes, you want to report them to DSS to make sure that your monthly food stamps benefit is accurate. So the first is your income. If you've lost work hours or had your pay cut since you reported your income to DSS, you want to let them know about this change so that you can receive all the food stamps that you're entitled to, as well as shelter. I know for a lot of people, their rent or their insurance or taxes are all going up. So those are things that you want to report to DSS. The next is dependent care. So this can either be childcare or the care of a disabled adult. And I want to talk a little bit more about dependent care because this can be very broad. So this includes daycare for young kids, before school care or after school care for kids who are in school age. And it also includes summer programs for kids who are out of school. The important thing, though, is that it needs to be dependent care costs that you have because you are working or in school. So if you're paying for childcare so that you can pursue employment or pursue school, it's something that you can use as an expense. The next is legally ordered child support. So this is child support that you or someone in your household is paying to someone else who is not in your household for a child that does not live in the household. And lastly, medical expenses. And these are only available to people who are 60 or older or disabled under government standards. If they have medical costs that are over $35 a month that they haven't reported to DSS or are new, they absolutely should report those to get the full deduction for their medical expenses. And it is very broad of what can be counted as a medical expense. So this can include Medicare premiums, private insurance premiums, co-pays for doctor's visits, prescription costs, dentures, glasses, other kinds of necessary medical equipment, even mileage to and from your doctor's appointments, or if you have a doctor out of town that's maybe a specialist and you have to stay overnight to go visit them, you can also use your hotel costs as a medical expense. So if you use our calculator and you find that the estimate that the calculator gives you is significantly more than the amount of food stamps that you're receiving, likely DSS doesn't have the correct updated information for you. So if you think about when you recertified or last reported changes, if your circumstances now are different, or if you never provided proof of your expenses, you definitely want to do that as soon as possible to hopefully get that fixed and have your food stamps match the correct amount that you get on the calculator. So what to do if you try that and it doesn't get resolved? So you have the right to request a hearing. You can request a hearing at any time if you believe that your regular monthly food stamps benefits were either improperly calculated or DSS did not take into account the changes that you've reported. And when I say request a hearing, it's the same thing as appealing. When you appeal, you get a hearing. Now, just to be clear, you do not have the right to request a hearing solely to dispute the end of the emergency allotments. Because this is a government policy change that is going to be impacting every household that receives food stamps, it's not something that you can appeal. You can only appeal something that impacts your particular situation. If you want to request a hearing, you should contact your local DSS. You can request a hearing either by telephone, in person, or in writing. We definitely recommend that you have some sort of writing or documentation of an in-person visit, just so that you can prove that you did appeal. We're expecting DSSs to be pretty overwhelmed with a lot of these changes and people reporting changes and needing to appeal. So you want to make sure that you have documentation of what you've done, just so that you can verify everything. So if you bring in, let's say you bring in documentation of your rent increase, try to make sure that you get a stamped copy showing that you provided that, or try to get the name of the person that you talked to, just in case. That way, if you need to follow up, you have some sort of documentation to show that you did report these changes in a timely manner. And then lastly, if you have requested a hearing or an appeal and you need legal assistance at your hearing, you can apply for legal aid's free help by calling our phone number here, 1-866-219-5262. And now I'm going to turn it over to Megan to talk about finding some food resources.
Thanks, Lainey. So Gabby, I just wanted to check in. Do we have any questions at this point that it would be appropriate to pause and answer?
No questions right now, but for those that are watching on Facebook, again, feel free to put it into the comment section. And if you're joining us on Zoom, the Q&A box, you can drop your questions there and we will get to them as we see them.
Okay. So Lainey, do you mind if I share my screen?
Absolutely. Let me just stop sharing. All right, go for it.
So we know that this is going to have a significant impact for a lot of folks. So we just wanted to spend a few minutes to share some of the resources that can be available and how to find them. Give me a minute. I've got to move this toolbar. Here we go. So as Lainey showed us at the beginning, on our homepage, right, there's this banner at the top. Whoops. And of course, it doesn't want to show me the banner. Okay, there's a banner here at the top that says alert, emergency food stamps training. When you click there, it'll bring you to this page where we have all this all the information that Lainey has just gone over, as well as links to the previous videos. But we also have links to some of the available resources. So I'm going to start here with, excuse me. So the Department of Health and Human Services does have a web page with some resources. So I'll just kind of show you what that looks like. So we have a list here of some of the programs and resources that are available, and this can change and update kind of throughout the year. The next item in our list here is WIC. Lainey mentioned WIC earlier when we were going over the calculator. And so I just want to show you how to apply. So if you follow the link from our website, it's ncdhhs.gov/NCWIC. It'll bring you to this page, and the link to apply is down here at the bottom, that you're looking for North Carolina WIC referral form. So WIC provides some supplemental nutrition resources for women and children who are breastfeeding and for children under 5, to help make sure that there are healthy foods available. There is also NC211. So earlier in the series, we had someone from NC211. So I believe that was our second week. So if you want to see their presentation directly, you can link back to that video, but I'll just do a quick introduction to their website. It's nc211.org. And this is a great place to find all kinds of resources, but for food resources specifically, let's just walk through a quick search. So the location is going to automatically populate to kind of where you're at if you have those location services enabled. So for me, it picks up that I'm in Durham, but let's say I'm in Ahoskie, and I want to find the food resources near me. So I can just type in something as simple as food and click Get Help. The search is going to default to something within 10 miles. And so it'll start to walk you through some of the available programs. It'll link you back to the Department of Social Services and things like the State Cooperative Extension, but it also will link you to individual programs. So home delivered meals, congregate meals, the Winton Senior Center, right? So it'll link you to those programs that are in your area. And then last but not least, if you want to just look for the local food pantry in your area, you can go, oh, sorry, I have blocked myself from one of my tabs. Okay. If you go to feeding, if you Google Feeding the Carolinas, they have their webpage has these are the major food banks that supply food to the food pantries in North and South Carolina. They have a link here at the top that says Find Food. And they, similar to 211, they have a simple search here where you can kind of put in your location. Again, we can say, right? Right, and it'll link you to, for example, the food bank of the Albemarle. So another really simple location search for food pantries or food resources in your area.
Thanks, Megan. I'm going to share my screen again just so that I can put our contact information up again. All right, so again, here is our phone number and the hours that we are available for help. People who are 60 and older are also welcome to call our senior helpline, and there's their number provided as well, 1-877-579-7562. And we are happy to take any questions that anyone might have or clarifications they want about anything that we've discussed. We can't give you specific legal advice on your particular situation, but we're happy to give more general information.
Let's give it just a second to see if any questions come through. Questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. As Lainey was saying, one more reminder, if you're on Facebook, feel free to put it into the comment section or here on Zoom in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Last call, any questions? All right, Well, thank you again to everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Lainey and Megan, for presenting. We are doing this weekly, and then we'll move to monthly, I believe, at the end of this month. Correct, Lainey?
Yeah, yes.
All
Correct.
right.
And then starting next month, it will be a more general program on food stamps in general.
Exactly. All righty, guys. If you have any other interest in our educational programs, you can visit us online at legalaidnc.org/clinics for a list of our other topics that we present on monthly. And if you would like to join us again, we will be live again at this time next week presenting similar content. But until then, everybody have a good week, stay safe, and thank you again for joining us.